Alright, what's going on, Game Changers? It's GCP here, and by the way, you guys must be asking yourself, why am I calling you a Game Changer? Well, I know other YouTubers and people out there, content creators, have certain sayings that they say for their following, and I never really had one. I always said, hey, what's up, guys, or what's going on, everybody? So I thought I'd try to make it a little more personable, and obviously you guys already know, or if you didn't know, you could learn something today. GCP stands for Game Changing Player, and honestly, I wanted it to be a little more of a family here, so to speak. You know what I mean? My followers should be called Game Changers because of my name. So that's the reason for that. As cheesy as that sounds, I am just gonna roll with it. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about everybody's favorite topic, everybody's favorite feature in gaming, skill-based matchmaking. And first of all, I want to thank Jack for allowing me to talk about this. He's actually the one who suggested I talk about it. He gave me this topic idea as far as skill-based matchmaking goes, and whether or not I or anybody else would pay a higher fee to have skill-based matchmaking removed or play in a game without skill-based matchmaking. Honestly, this is what I think. Skill-based matchmaking, first of all, is something that I and a lot of people are not a fan of unless they're bad at the game. A lot of people out there who are maybe new to the game or just not very skilled have no problem with skill-based matchmaking because honestly they don't feel it. They don't feel it as much as the player who has cultivated their skill over the years or who is naturally good at the game. You know, the better that you get at the game, the higher skilled or higher tier of skilled players that you face is increased, and the more sweaty the matches. And there's people out there who will complain that people who are higher tiered in terms of skill goes, they're crying about playing against players of their same caliber. And that's always been the case with people who are advocating for skill-based matchmaking and saying that those players out there don't want a challenge. And that's honestly not true. As somebody who would consider themselves a sweat or naturally good at the game or who has actually cultivated their skill over the many years, I would say this is not true because I personally enjoy lobbies where they're mixed and I have a mixed tier of players that are both good and bad. I mean, for example, let me just give you guys a quick example of what I mean. When it comes to a lack of skill-based matchmaking, you get players that are more newbies one match, and then you'll have the next match where you have more higher tiered players with more skill. So I don't want to play a match where I'm playing noobs all the time 24/7 because that would provide no challenge for me. That would provide no growth, and that would get boring because of that lack of a challenge. On the other hand, I don't want to play constantly 24/7 against sweats because that would make me feel like I'm in a tournament all the time, and I am not being incentivized for that every single time. And plus, that's burning out my controller because I'm doing all these crazy things at the same time. So with that being said, I love where the connection is the priority and players can play in a lobby with mixed skill levels. Honestly, how I got better at the game is by getting stomped out one game and then doing the stomping the other game. That's how you have a fair experience when it comes to video games. Instead of providing skill-based matchmaking in a public match, again, I have been advocating for this for a very long time, which doesn't make sense why Call of Duty has not been doing this, is to make a ranked playlist separate from your public match. So that way we are being incentivized to actually sweat it out. I think skill-based matchmaking has a place in Call of Duty. I really think it does. But you have to make it separate. So that way when you have those higher tiered players or skill level players that are higher in those playlists, you are incentivizing them with that rank or with multiple rewards, so that way they can feel like they're accomplishing something rather than constantly putting us in a public match having to sweat 24/7. That's what I've been saying, and I don't understand why these people don't want it to be that way. Of course, they want to make it easier for the noobs all the time. So that way we as pub stompers who are good at the game don't constantly run over these lobbies. That's the whole reason. They want to protect the noobs. And honestly, I can't agree with that. I don't vibe with that at all. But as far as paying Activision a higher fee to eliminate skill-based matchmaking, I don't think I would pay any higher than $10 to have a game or experience, because that's what you're paying for. You're paying for a better experience without skill-based matchmaking. It's not saying that I'm going to be facing noobs all the time without skill-based matchmaking, because players of all skill are going to be in a playlist with no skill-based matchmaking. Again, it's not going to be high-tiered or high-skilled players all the time. It's not going to be noobs all the time. It's going to be a mix. That's what having no skill-based matchmaking in a game provides. And it's honestly the best experience in a game that you can have. Honestly, if I had that option to pay Activision for a no skill-based matchmaking game or experience, I wouldn't try to advocate much for it, because at the end of the day, that should come standard for the game. We shouldn't have to pay an extra fee to do that. If we continue on this trend, if this was indeed a thing, we would be encouraging this type of behavior from Activision, and this would give them more incentive to try to gain as much money from us already. I mean, we already pay Activision way too much money when it comes to these Call of Duty games, let's be honest. So having another incentive for Activision to charge us for an experience that, again, like I said before, should come standard and shipped with the game on day one is not something that I would encourage. That's why I wouldn't advocate for a no skill-based matchmaking fee to have them charge more on top of what they've already been charging us. So for me, that's a big no-no. As far as Cold War goes, the new game, I think in the beta, they're going to have no skill-based matchmaking in there at all. So that way, they're going to draw us in to have that better experience. And maybe for the first week or two, or maybe even for the first month, who knows, they're going to have skill-based matchmaking either turned off or non-existent, so that way everybody's going to be drawn in. Everybody's going to say this is a great game. You know, there's mixed lobbies, there's no skill-based matchmaking, even though we've said and we've seen in through data miners, they're going to have that thick skill-based matchmaking followed up from Modern Warfare, because that's all Activision. They have a patent to do so because they've seen that there's an incentive there for them to do so. I think they're going to actually have it turned down, so that way they could draw as many people to the game as possible and get the most amount of profit that they can. And then in an instant, they're going to switch it back on. That's what I think. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys willing to pay an extra fee to Activision to have no skill-based matchmaking in the game? Or do you guys feel the same way that I do, that we should not encourage this type of behavior? Anyways, let me know all of your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified whenever I upload. And with that being said, this is GCP, signing off.